Hello, good morning. Today I want to share about the way of the modern day mystic. I've put out online my guidance to each week offer several free modern day mystic readings for people out there that resonate with this concept of being a cultural creative or modern day mystic. And what I really mean by that is a spiritually aware person who has some degree of awakening to their connection to the divine within, awakening to their gifts and abilities to see beyond the status quo, and have this calling to serve or this calling to shift their life in a way to reflect this new awareness that's coming in, even if they don't understand it completely. And so, whether it's transitioning into a more open relating style of romantic relationship, or if it's more of a conscious business style of entrepreneurship, or even the way that we look at our diet, and particularly around the energy of spiritual practice and who has a spiritual practice or would like to have one or would like to be able to bridge the gap between their spiritual awareness and their actual human life. And this has been very much my own personal journey of feeling awakened to spirit and to the love of God at a very young age. And then, experimenting and exploring pretty much ever since, all through my teenage years and definitely my adult life, of how to be this spiritual person in my life. For me, it wasn't. I never really, got an actual real job, and it's always been about creating my own business and creating my own lifestyle around what I feel is the most true inside of me, my core truth, and choosing not to participate in some of the uh, systems and some of the belief systems that are pretty much the status quo in our society. And so it is those of us who are these modern mystics that are pioneering the new paradigm, pioneering the new way of being in the world and every single part of ourselves. And to me, the most beautiful thing about it is that, maybe in ancient times or even just a few hundred years ago, if you felt a calling to be in service to spirit, then you would go to the temple or you would go to the church or you would, go and sit at the feet of the guru, and you would give over your entire life to that. And you would be supported to do so. You would be taken care of and clothed and sheltered and fed in order to live that life. And well, in today's modern world, we are still bridging this gap between this old paradigm sense of everyone fend for themselves, take care of yourself, into more of a community or tribe or cooperative style again. But that's perhaps a long road, and some people are doing it now, of course. But for most of us, there still is this imperative to we have to take care of ourselves and provide for ourselves and perhaps for our loved ones. And so I am excited to have this video blog, and I'm looking into doing my first podcast as well, as really being about the way of the modern day mystic and sharing my own personal stories like I have been, and my own explorations and questions about how is it that we're really um, doing on this journey. And the work that I do with Divine Human Training really is about understanding our self-awareness of how we've been invested in our pain and invested in this big separation or gap between our spiritual awareness self, or that which is free, and then our obligations and responsibilities and what we have to do to participate in the world as it is. And so how are we bridging that gap? And so my work is really an experiment, an invitation, an exploration, an inquiry into how it is that each of us uniquely make that leap of integration. And so the thing I want to leave you with is, to me, the number one shift of becoming a modern day mystic or a divine human is really about no longer being pathological to your own self. And so if you imagine your inner landscape to be like a society or a kingdom of subjects, and all your thoughts and all your feelings that constitute all the different subjects in your kingdom, when your standard conscious seat, right, or the dominant thing, that the ideas that you're most invested in are that of acceptance, so that you can uh, still hear the negative self-talk, or still have the old fear come up. I just yesterday had some old fears come up about resources and friendship, and to be able to embrace those without attacking them or hating them or wanting to distance yourself from them or protect yourself from them. And I played that game for a very long time, and a lot of my clients play that game too, and perhaps you play it, where some aspect of yourself is just considered to be dirty or wrong or bad or evil, and you have to distance yourself from that part, attack it, destroy it, change it, heal it, fix it, ignore it, numb it, get away from it. And for me, in this divine human training practice that I'm living myself and teaching to others, that is the number one thing that it's really about, is becoming no longer pathological to your own system, so that you are fully aware of all the inner resources that you have and how to use them all the time, no matter what your outer circumstances look like. And to me, when we reach that level of consciousness within ourselves, and it doesn't mean that all those thoughts and feelings aren't still there, it's just really about this level of mastery of how we're engaging them, then this will be reflected out in our society, will be projected out, right? And perhaps I really believe that where we're headed in the new paradigm collectively is for our entire human society and our entire human family to no longer be pathological to itself, meaning that no one has any interest or investment in killing or suppressing or taking over anyone else. And perhaps when we get to that kind of level one of society, that basis of connections, things start to shift really rapidly about how it is that we're treating the planet and how it is that we're using and aware of the resources the planet and the sun are giving us. So it's an exciting thing to be on the frontier of this shift and this change, and to not really know the exact way all the time, right? To explore and experiment with how we do it, and to make mistakes, and to get up, and to love ourselves through it all. And so I'm here for that. I'm here to share my own journey, if it may be inspiring, and to support others. I have other work that I do, so I'm not like completely dependent on this divine human training work, but it is my deepest soul passion, and it is what I want to do with my life, and it is my call to share and to create a business around this. So if it calls to you, and if you want to explore more, I invite you to go to divinehumantraining.com, where my free reading is there, that you can sign up for and fill out a little application. And also all my other wonderful things are on mysoulscompass.com. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a beautiful day.